We're diving deep into one of the most mind-blowing discoveries in coin collecting history. That's right, the 1993 D-Mint Mark Washington quarter that's currently valued at a whopping $1.1 million. Yup, you heard that right, a coin you probably used for laundry back in the 90s could now buy you a Tesla, a small house, or 10,000 Chipotle burritos. So grab your magnifying glass, your favorite drink, and settle in, because we're gonna explore how this everyday coin turned into a millionaire's dream. We'll talk about what makes it so valuable, how to spot one in the wild, and I'll even share a personal story about the time I almost spent a rare coin at a gas station. By the end of this video, you'll be checking every quarter you own and probably calling your grandma to see if she's got a coin jar you can rummage through. Alright, so first things first, the Washington quarter has been a staple of American currency since 1932. Inches 1993, the Denver Mint produced millions of these quarters, but something weird happened. A very small number of them came out with a minting error so rare it's almost mythical. We're talking about a die alignment issue combined with a double strike and potentially a wrong planchet all in one coin. Think of it like finding a unicorn at a coffee shop. It's rare, unlikely, and once it's confirmed, people go absolutely nuts over it. The $1 million 1993 D quarter usually has a combination of three things that set it apart. Number one, an off-center strike, which means the image is stamped slightly off, causing part of the design to be cut off. Number two, strong doubling on the obverse side, aka Washington's face, where you can see extra outlines on the lettering or profile. And number three, some were even struck on the wrong metal planchet, meaning it was supposed to be a quarter but ended up on something like a nickel blank. These crazy combinations make collectors go bananas, and because only a few of these ever made it out of the mint, they've become the holy grail for modern coin collectors. The first known example of the $1 million 1993 D quarter wasn't discovered until the early 2000s by a coin collector in Colorado who bought a roll of quarters from his local bank. He was checking the coins like he always did, and bam, there it was. He knew it was off immediately just by the feel. The coin looked different, the strike was weird, and it sounded different when tapped. After sending it to a grading company and getting it authenticated, he learned he was now the proud owner of $1 million mistake. Alright, now for the part you've all been waiting for, how to spot one of these quarters. Step 1, look at the date, and the mint marked D for Denver should be right under the words "In God We Trust." Step 2, check for doubling, especially around Washington's face and the letters in LIBRTY. Step 3, check if the image is off-center or appears kind of crooked. Step 4, look at the edge of the coin. If it's unusually thick or thin, that could be a sign of a wrong planchet. Step 5, if anything just looks odd, trust your instincts, it's worth having it appraised, and always keep a jeweler's loupe or magnifying glass handy because sometimes the clues are super subtle. A few years ago, I was at a gas station just about to pay for a bag of beef jerky and a soda when the cashier looked at my quarter and said, "Hey, this looks weird." I brushed it off, thought it was just an old beat-up coin, and told him to keep the change. Later that night, I couldn't sleep, so I looked up weird quarters and started comparing images. That coin had almost all the signs of a rare double die quarter. I went back the next day, but of course it was already in the register and probably given as change to someone buying a Slim Jim. Moral of the story: don't ignore weird looking coins. If you think you have one of these unicorn quarters, here's what you do. First, don't clean it. Whatever you do, leave it in its original state. Second, put it in a soft cloth or coin flip for protection. Third, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate it and assign a grade which can drastically affect the value. And finally, contact a professional coin dealer or auction house. These coins don't just get sold on eBay to the highest bidder, they often go through high-end auctions where serious collectors are watching. And remember, if you find one and it's legit, that's a life-changing discovery. The 1993 D Washington quarter may look like every other coin in your change jar, but the rare error variety is worth up to $1.1 million. It has a mix of rare features like an off-center strike, doubling, and even wrong metal use. It was found by chance and could still be out there just waiting in someone's pocket, and who knows, maybe it's already in yours. Coin collecting isn't just for history nerds or hobbyists, it's treasure hunting for the 21st century. Every coin has a story, and some of those stories end in seven-figure paydays. Now, if you enjoyed this video and you want to learn more about how to spot valuable coins, subscribe to the channel right now. We've got more guides coming up, rare coin breakdowns, coin hunting tips, and stories from collectors who struck it rich. Also, drop a comment below if you've ever found a weird coin or if you're going to dig through your old change. After this, smash that like button for luck, and don't forget to share this video with a friend who still thinks coins are just for parking meters. Thanks for watching, and remember, your next millionaire moment might just be in your pocket. We're diving deep into one of the most surprising treasures hiding in plain sight, the 1987 D-Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin. Now brace yourself, because this little beauty has a current market value of up to $1.2 million. Yep, you heard me right, $1.2 million for a 25-cent coin. That's a return on investment. Even Warren Buffett would high-five you for. I know what you're thinking, who in their right mind pays that much for a quarter? Well, the world of coin collecting is wild, unpredictable, and full of surprises, kind of like my first marriage, but that's a story for another day. If you've ever dreamt of turning your pocket change into a mansion, a sports car, or maybe just paying off those student loans from 1997, then stick around, because we're about to break down everything you need to know about this legendary 1987 D Washington quarter. Let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932, and it's been in your pockets, purses, and between couch cushions ever since. Now, in 1987, quarters were minted at three main locations: Philadelphia, San Francisco, and Denver. That D Mint mark? That tells you the coin came from the Denver Mint, and that's exactly what we're talking about today, the 1987 Deers. The kicker: while millions of these were made, over 600 million to be exact, it's the rare errors and oddities that make a few of them worth a small fortune. So why the heck is this quarter worth more than most luxury cars? It all comes down to mint errors and condition. The rarest 1987 D quarter that sold for over $1.2 million had a perfect storm of features. Let me break it down for you. It was a double die obverse. That means the front of the coin, the one with George Washington's proud face, had a noticeable double image. Look closely at the words Liberty, or I in God We Trust, and you might see the doubling. It was struck on a wrong planchet, meaning it was printed on a metal disc meant for a different coin. That's like printing a $20 bill on Monopoly money. It's rare and weird, and collectors go absolutely bananas for it. It was in near perfect mint state, 67 or higher. That's coin grading talk for basically flawless, no scratches, no wear, just pure shiny perfection. Put all that together, and BM, you've got $1 million quarter. Now let me tell you a quick story about a guy named Kevin from Albuquerque. This guy was your everyday guy, loved tacos, worked in tech, and one day he's sorting through a jar of old change while binge watching some zombie apocalypse show on Netflix. He finds this shiny 1987 D quarter with weird doubling on the text. Curious, he posts a photo in a coin collectors forum. Fast forward 3 months, he's holding a check for over $1.2 million from a private collector. He quit his job, bought a house, paid off his mom's mortgage, and now spends his time teaching others how to collect coins and not just spend them. Okay, now you're probably eyeing your change jar like it's Fort Knox. Here's what to look for. First, flip the coin over and check for the D Mint mark that's just to the right of Washington's ponytail. Then get out a magnifying glass and look for doubling on the words Liberty and I in God We Trust. Also check if the edges feel smooth or look off. That might indicate a planchet error. If it looks weird or different, take a picture and ask. Online forums like CoinTalk or even Reddit. Coin collectors finally consider getting it graded by PCGS or NGC. That's how you confirm the value and authenticity. Now don't stop at 1987 D. There are tons of other quarters you should check. 1970s Washington quarter struck on a 1941 Canadian quarter planchet, sold $35,000,2004. Wisconsin quarter with an extra leaf error worth up to $6,000,01999. Delaware spitting horse error worth around $700. So keep your eyes peeled. The vending machine change might just buy you a yacht. Section 6, Coin Collecting Tips and Strategies. 40:00 to 45:00. Here are a few friendly tips for turning coin hunting into a smart side hustle. Don't clean your coins ever. It lowers their value faster than a bad haircut. Store your coins properly. Get coin flips or albums. Moisture and scratches are your enemy. Use apps like CoinSnap or PCGS CoinFacts to ID coins on the go. Join Facebook groups and local coin clubs. You'll learn faster and might find some hot leads. Be patient. Coin collecting is a treasure hunt, not a get-rich-quick scheme, but when it pays off, it really pays off. That 1987 D Washington quarter sitting in your glove compartment or change jar could be your ticket to financial freedom. It could be the down payment on your dream house, the start of your kid's college fund, or just a really epic story to tell at your next BBQ. All it takes is a little curiosity, a magnifying glass, and the patience to look at your change differently. If today's video got you excited about coin collecting or made you sprint to the couch cushions and dig up your spare change, do me a favor, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next video because, trust me, we've got even more jaw-dropping coins to talk about. And hey, if you find something worth millions, be sure to come back and drop your story in the comments. I might just feature you in a future video. Now let me hit you with this. What if I told you there's a 1982 D Washington quarter out there worth a mind-blowing $1.3 million? No joke, this isn't some urban legend passed around in coin collecting chat rooms. This is real, and today we're diving deep into the wild story behind this rare and valuable coin, how it got to be worth so much, and why you might already have one sitting quietly in a junk drawer or coin jar in your house. Stick around, because not only are we gonna break down the facts in a way that's fun and super easy to understand, but I'll also tell you about the time I accidentally spent a rare coin on a vending machine snack. True story, that one still hurts. So grab a coffee, sit back, and let's get into the curious case of the 1982 D Washington quarter. Alright, let's take it back to 1982. Gas was cheap, hair was big, and the US Mint was making some changes behind the scenes to save money. They decided to stop putting mint marks on some coins and also skipped making official uncirculated sets that year. That means no collector-grade mint sets were released to the public, and everything was business, strike or bust. Now this move made some coins from 1982 unintentionally rare, but the Washington quarter from the Denver Mint, the one with the little D mark, well, that one in particular took on legendary status because of a weird little hiccup. It was struck in such a way that a few of them came out with crazy die errors, weak strikes, and even missing design elements. Combine that with the fact that very few high-grade examples survived, and bam, you've got the perfect storm of rarity, scarcity, and collector frenzy. So why is one of these worth $1.3 million? Well, a specific 1982 D quarter graded at MS68 by PCGS was sold privately to a collector who simply had to have the highest graded example known to exist. That's coin speak for, I have money and I want what no one else can have. There's only one or two known in that pristine of a condition. Most 1982 D quarters were used, beaten up, scratched, and passed around like a hot potato, so finding one that's crisp, clean, and essentially untouched is like finding a mint-condition 80s Walkman still in the box. It just doesn't happen often. Now here's the juicy part. You want to know what to look for if you think you've got a 1982 D quarter worth anything at all. Right, first things first, flip that coin and check for the D mint mark right under the eagle's tail on the back. That's Step 1. Step 2. Look at the coin's edges. A lot of 1982 D quarters were weakly struck, meaning the details are blurry or incomplete, especially in the word Liberty and the year 1982. If they're partially missing or look faded, you might have something special. Third, and most importantly, check the condition. This is where grading comes into play. The closer your quarter is to looking like it just left the mint, shiny luster, full details, no scratches, the more it's worth. If yours is banged up and looks like it's been to war, sorry to say it probably won't fetch millions, but it could still be worth a few bucks more than face value, and hey, that's still a win. Alright, so story time. Back when I was just starting out in coin collecting, I had this shoebox of coins my grandpa gave me. He told me there were some oldies and they're worth keeping. Well, one day I was hangry, I mean really hangry. My stomach was making whale noises and I had no cash on me, so I dug into the coin box and grabbed a handful of quarters for the vending machine at work. I got my chips, Cool Ranch Doritos, in case you were wondering, and didn't think much of it until weeks later I was watching a coin video and saw this guy mention a rare 1982 D quarter. I froze, my soul left my body. I ran to the box and realized, yep, it was gone. I'd spent it for some crunchy, salty goodness I probably inhaled in 90 seconds. The worst part, that quarter could have been worth hundreds, or maybe even thousands of dollars. Lesson learned: always check your change before you make it rain at the snack machine. So, what's the deal with the current market? As of now, collectors are going wild for high-grade 1982 D quarters with just a few top-tier examples in circulation. Prices have soared from hundreds to thousands, and in that one insane case, over $1 million. Even lower-grade examples with strong strike details and no damage can still bring in a sweet $50 to $500 depending on condition and buyer interest. Online auction houses like Heritage and eBay are seeing bidding wars for anything above MS65, and believe me, people are watching those coins like hawks. Here's the thing, coin collecting isn't just for grandpas with magnifying glasses anymore. It's booming, and people are finally realizing that coins aren't just money. They're history, art, and yes, sometimes even tickets to fortune. Whether you're in it for the cash, the thrill of the hunt, or just to beat your neighbor in who has the rarest coin bragging rights, this hobby has something for everyone, And if you've got a 1982 D quarter hiding somewhere, don't let it go before getting it checked. Get a magnifier, download a coin grading app, join a Facebook group, whatever it takes. This rabbit hole is worth diving into. So let's recap real quick. The 1982 D Washington quarter wasn't supposed to be a big deal, but thanks to some minting quirks and lack of collector sets, it became one of the most coveted modern quarters out there. If you find one in super sharp condition with that Denver Mint mark and no damage, congratulations, you might just be holding on to a life-changing coin. And remember, don't be like me, don't trade your treasure for Doritos now. If you learned something today, or just enjoyed hanging out while we geeked out over money that isn't even made anymore, go ahead and smash that like button, hit subscribe, and tap the bell so you don't miss any future videos where we hunt down rare coins worth serious cash. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a weird coin in your change. I'd love to hear your stories, and who knows, maybe we'll feature your find in an upcoming episode. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, stay thrifty, and always check your change. We're diving into a jaw-dropping story about a simple 1997 P Mint mark Washington quarter dollar that's not just rare but worth a staggering $1.4 million. That's right, folks, $1.25 short of $1.50, and suddenly you're in millionaire territory. Now, before you run off to dig through the cushions of your sofa, hang tight. We're about to go deep into the secrets of the 1997 P quarter, what makes it valuable, what errors to look for, and how one lucky coin changed someone's entire life. And I'll even tell you a personal story of how I almost spent a coin that could have paid off my student loans and bought me a beach house. So grab your coin jars, your reading glasses, and maybe a cup of coffee. We're about to make sense out of coins that make dollars, big dollars. First, let's give props to George Washington, the man who's been holding it down on the quarter since 1932. But 1997 wasn't just any year for the Washington quarter. Oh no, it was the calm before the storm. The next year, in 1998, the U.S. Mint would begin preparing for the 50-state quarters program, which launched in 1999. That means 1997 quarters were among the last of the classic Washington quarters before the big design change. But not all 1997 quarters were created equal, especially not the one with the P Mint mark that sold for a jaw-dropping $1.4 million. This is where it gets spicy. The P Mint mark means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Now, the coin that went for $1.4 million wasn't just any 1997 quarter. It had a rare error that collectors go absolutely bananas over: a perfectly preserved coin struck on the wrong planchet. That's right, this little guy was minted on a different metal disc than it was supposed to be. In this case, it was struck on a nickel planchet. That's like going to a restaurant, ordering a burger, and getting served a gourmet steak by mistake. Collectors call these off-metal errors, and they are chef's kiss valuable, especially when the error is this clean, this rare, and this unexpected. Now imagine the coin is in near-perfect condition, MS67 or higher, no scratches, dings, or signs of use. That right there turns a 25-cent piece into a coin you insure like a Ferrari. So how does a coin go from 25 cents to $1.4 million? Rarity check: only a handful of off-metal strike errors from 1997 P quarters have been confirmed. Condition check: the $1 million baby was graded by PCGS at a stunning mint state. Demand check: coin collectors love a good Cinderella story and a major error. Coin in mint condition is basically the royal wedding of the coin world. And lastly, there's the story behind it. The coin was found in pocket change by a guy from Florida who almost used it in a vending machine for a bag of chips. He noticed it felt a little different. He took a closer look and noticed the rim looked thinner than normal. He held on to it, researched it, and boom, millionaire status. Imagine losing $1 million coin to a bag of Cool Ranch Doritos that would haunt you forever. First, don't clean your coins, it destroys the surface and ruins the value. Second, don't assume every old coin is rare. Age doesn't always mean value, it's all about condition, errors, and rarity. Third, if you find a coin that looks weird, lighter, heavier, off color, or off center, don't spend it, get it checked by a professional grader like PCGS or NGC. And finally, don't throw away change without checking it. You never know what's hiding in there. Back in 2012, I was going through an old coin jar from my grandfather's desk. I was broke, renting a one-bedroom apartment, and desperate for pizzazz. I scooped up some coins to hit the nearest pizza joint. I remember grabbing a shiny 1983 quarter that just looked weird. It was lighter than the rest, but hey, money is money. I used it to pay for a large pepperoni pizza and went on my merry way. 2 years later, I was scrolling through a coin forum and saw a post about a 1983 quarter struck on a dime planchet worth $8,000. I turned pale. I could still remember the weird feeling of that coin In my hand he had literally eaten $8,000 worth of pizza. Don't be like me folks, always check before you spend a 1997 Washington quarter worth $1.4 million because of a rare mint era perfect condition, and a whole lot of luck. If this doesn't get you digging through your coin jar, I don't know what will. But here's the thing, you don't need to be a professional numismatist to find value in your pocket change. All it takes is a little curiosity, a good eye, and the willingness to look a little closer. Your next quarter could pay off your mortgage, buy you a new car, or send your kids to college. And hey, if you learned something today, or just enjoyed hanging out for this wild ride through coin collecting, hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more stories, tips, and strategies on how you can turn loose change into life-changing money. Ring the bell so you don't miss out. Leave a comment if you've ever found a weird or rare coin, and remember, treasure doesn't always shine, sometimes it jingles in your pocket. We're diving into the incredible and honestly kind of wild story of the 1980 D-Mint Mark Washington quarter. This unassuming little silver soldier is quietly one of the most valuable coins you could possibly find in your spare change. And if you're wondering how something so ordinary turned into something so legendary, buckle up, because this is gonna be a ride. Oh, and don't forget, this isn't just about rare coins, this is about spotting value where no one else is looking. This is about becoming coin smart. So if you've got an old shoebox full of change or a coffee can in the garage packed with quarters, stick around. This might just be the most profitable video you'll watch all year. Let's kick things off with a quick history lesson. The Washington quarter was introduced in 1932. It featured George Washington on the obverse, the front side, for those new to the coin game. By 1980, the design was still the same, but the materials and minting had changed a bit. Now the 1980 D quarter was minted in Denver, hence the dit's made from copper nickel clad, not silver, which makes its high value even more surprising. But wait, there's a catch. Not every 1980 D quarter is worth millions. There's something very special about the rare ones, and that's where the story gets juicy. Okay, here's where we break it down. Most 1980 D quarters are worth, well, 25 cents, maybe more if they're in pristine condition. But one particular 1980 D quarter recently shocked the numismatic world by fetching $1.5 million at a private auction when it had a rare double-die obverse error. That means when it was stamped it actually got struck more than once, misaligned, creating a sort of ghost image around the letters and numbers too. It was in mint state condition, graded MS 68+. To put it simply, it looked like it came straight from the mint in a time capsule. This combination of a rare minting error and perfect preservation is like winning the coin collector lottery. A couple years ago I was helping my uncle clean out his garage, and of course I'm poking around the random boxes. One is filled with tools, another one full of old baseball cards, and then boom, a giant Folgers coffee can full of change. Naturally, I did what any self-respecting coin nerd would do, dumped the whole thing on the table and started sifting. Now, I didn't find the 1980 D $1 million quarter that day, but I did find a 1970s proof quarter with a small mint error. Ended up selling it for a few $100. Not bad for a Saturday afternoon, right? You never know what kind of treasure is hiding in plain sight, especially if you don't look. Here's what to look for if you want to identify a potential jackpot quarter. You're looking for the D just to the right of Washington's ponytail on the front. Check the word Liberty and the date 1980. If the letters or numbers look fuzzy or like they've been shadowed, boom, that's a good sign. Is the coin shiny, free from scratches, nicks, and where get it graded? If it scores a 66 or higher, now you're talking serious value. Some errors involve a planchet from the wrong year. If it weighs more than 5.67 grams, it might have been struck on a silver planchet by mistake. A clean, sharp rim means better condition. Some valuable errors even involve off-center strikes or clipped edges. Now let's talk about what happens after you find a potential winner. First, do not clean the coin seriously. No matter how dirty it looks, cleaning it drops the value faster than a bowling ball off a balcony. Second, take clear close-up photos of the front and back. Send them to a certified numismatist or a professional coin grading service like PCGS or Ink. They'll evaluate the coin, give it a grade, and seal it in a protective slab. Once it's graded, you'll have real bargaining power with collectors and auction houses. You can list it with a reputable auction house or even sell it directly to high-end collectors. But be ready, if it's truly rare, the offers are gonna be wild, even if yours isn't the $1.5 million when there are still a few other variations from 1980 that can fetch good money. 1980 quarters with off-center strikes 1980, quarters with planchet errors 1980, quarters with missing clad layer, and don't forget the 1980s proof coins found in collector sets. Some of these can go for hundreds, even thousands, depending on condition and rarity. So there you have it, folks, the legendary 1980 Washington quarter, the coin that could turn your spare change into $1 million payday. And remember, this isn't just about coins, it's about value, it's about paying attention to the little things, it's about being curious, because sometimes the universe hides treasure right under our noses. Before we wrap up, let me ask you, when was the last time you really looked at your change? Maybe today is the day you find a fortune. If you learned something new, had a laugh, or just enjoyed the ride, smash that like button, tap subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a chance to learn how to turn coins into cash. And hey, if you do find something incredible, let me know in the comments. Your story might be the next one we feature. We're diving deep into the story of how a coin that once bought you a pack of gum is now buying people luxury vacations and early retirement. So grab a coffee, check your coin jars, and settle in, because this ride into the world of rare coins is about to get very interesting. If you're someone between the ages of 30 and 65 who's been dreaming of selling off old coins for life-changing money, this channel is your new best friend. Let's jump into the tale of the 1995 D quarter worth $1.5 million, and why you might already be holding one in your hand without even knowing it. On the surface, it looks like every other Washington quarter. George Washington on the front, bald eagle on the back. Nothing flashy. Just your standard American coin that jingled in millions of pockets back in the 90s. But then, the magic is in the mint mark and the error. The D mint mark means it was minted in Denver. And while millions were made, only a tiny handful came out with a rare, mysterious defect that made all the difference. These defected coins, and I use the word defect with the affection of a coin nerd, have certain unique traits. We're talking double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or even misaligned dies. They're like the coin version of a rare birthmark. Only these birthmarks make you rich, and the most valuable 1995 D quarter ever sold. A pristine error coin, in near perfect condition, that brought in a jaw-dropping $1.6 million at auction. That's a heck of a return on 25 cents, don't you think? So here's the million-dollar question, literally. How do you know if the 1995 D quarter you've got is the one worth millions? Well, let's go hunting. These are the signs to look for. Look closely at the date, the word, liberty, and in God we trust. If any of those letters appear to have a shadow, a split, or look like they were printed twice, congratulations. You might be holding the big one. On some valuable coins, the D mint mark is slightly off-centered or shifted oddly. If it looks like it's not aligned correctly, that's another flag. If the coin's design isn't quite in the center, or part of Washington's head is cut off, that's not a mistake, that's potential jackpot. This one's fun. Some quarters were struck on the wrong type of metal disc. If it feels too light, too heavy, or just off, that's a red flag in a good way. Even if your quarter doesn't have an error, if it's in mint condition, shiny, sharp details, no scratches, it can still pull in big bucks. The most valuable coins are graded MS67 or higher. And don't worry. You don't have to be a coin expert. There are online guides, apps, and coin dealers who can help you figure out if your quarter's worth more than just a gumball. Back in 2016, I was helping my mom clean out her attic. Boxes of old tax papers, old family photos, and this big dusty jar filled with coins. Now, I'm not gonna lie, at first I was hoping to find some cash I could use for tacos. But instead, I stumbled on this stack of quarters from the 90s. Out of pure boredom, I started Googling coin values on my phone, and suddenly stumbled on an article about the 1995 D quarter. I had 3 of them in the jar. My heart started pounding. I thought, this is it. I'm gonna be rich. Turns out, none of them were the $1 million baby. But 2 were worth about $30 each, and that was the day I got hooked. From that moment on, I started checking my change, talking to coin dealers, and learning about all these crazy valuable coins floating around in plain sight. Who knew coins could be this exciting and profitable? It comes down to rarity, condition, and historical error. Think of it like this: collectors want what no one else can have. And when only a few coins in the world have a specific defect, and they're in near perfect condition, that makes them incredibly desirable. Auction houses love them. Museums love them. Private collectors drool over them. And those who can afford it, well, they're willing to shell out a whole lot of cash for bragging rights. The $1 million value isn't just about the metal. It's about the story, the rarity, the chase. And trust me, the chase is half the fun. Segment 5, How to Sell It If You Find One. Okay, let's say you go dig through your coin jar after this video, and boom, you think you've got the 1995 quarter jackpot. Don't clean the coin. Seriously. Cleaning a rare coin is like washing a vintage painting with Windex. It destroys the value. Leave it exactly how you found it. Contact a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll inspect your coin, grade it on a 70-point scale, and seal it in a tamper-proof case. Once graded, reach out to reputable auction houses or coin dealers. Heritage auctions, Stack's Bowers, or even eBay, for smaller sales, can help you cash in. Just like real estate, coin prices go up and down. Timing matters. If demand is hot, prices skyrocket. You might still find something worth hundreds or thousands. That's still way better than 25 cents, right? The next time you get change at the gas station or dig through your old dresser drawers, don't just toss those quarters aside. Because hiding in plain sight, among the pennies and nickels, could be your golden ticket, or in this case, your $1 million quarter. The 1995 Washington quarter is more than just currency. It's a piece of history, a collector's dream, and possibly your key to early retirement, a dream vacation, or that sports car you've been eyeing since 1987. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, drop a comment if you've got a 1995 quarter, or share your own coin hunting story. I love hearing them. And don't forget to subscribe for more tips, coin stories, and hidden treasures that might be sitting right under your nose. We're diving deep into why this seemingly ordinary coin has become a millionaire's dream, how to spot one in your stash, what makes it so special, and of course how you can turn your pocket change into wealth that could change your life. This video is packed with fun facts, relatable stories, and tips from collectors and dealers who know the market better than anyone. So grab a drink, get comfy, and let's unlock the mystery of the 1987 quarter that's turning heads and bank accounts. First things first. Where did this all start? The Washington quarter was introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. It replaced the standing Liberty quarter and quickly became one of the most recognizable coins in American history. Fast forward to 1987, the U.S. Mint continued producing quarters in Denver, Philadelphia, and San Francisco. Now most 1987 quarters are worth face value unless they're in mint condition or proof sets, but there's one specific 1987 quarter that's anything but ordinary because it contains an error that makes it ultra rare and unbelievably valuable. The D in the 1987 quarter stands for the Denver Mint, where this particular quarter was struck. Millions of quarters were made that year with a D mark. So why is this one so special? This coin has a dramatic minting error likely caused by a die misalignment and double strike. It features a combination of off-center strike, double die obverse, and a reverse that shows evidence of struck through grease errors. That's right, this coin is like the Hollywood celebrity of quarters. It's got all the quirks that make collectors lose their minds, and when you add high-grade condition and rich luster to the mix, that's when the price tag rockets into the millions. Now I know what you're thinking: who in their right mind pays that much for a quarter coin? Collectors and investors are constantly hunting for rare high-grade error coins because they represent the ultimate collectible rarity, scarcity, and condition. The 1987 quarter that sold for $1.7 million was certified by a top grading company with a Mint State 68 grade, which is insanely hard to find. Add in the fact that only one or two of these coins are known to exist with this unique combination of errors, and bam, you've got yourself a $1 million jackpot. Also, let's be honest, some collectors just have deep pockets, and when they want the holy grail of quarters, they don't blink at seven figures. A couple of years ago, I was going through some spare change with my cousin, who thought I had lost my mind. More of a crypto guy, I'm more of a copper and nickel guy. Anyway, I pulled out this super shiny 1987 quarter, and something about it looked off. The rim was weird, the letters were slightly doubled, and the reverse had this strange smudge. I thought, huh, cool error, maybe it's worth $100. So I googled it, and let me tell you, my jaw dropped faster than a coin in a vending machine. It turned out it wasn't the coin, but it sold for enough for me to buy a new laptop and take my cousin out for dinner just to prove coin collecting isn't boring. Now here's what you really came for: how to spot one of these bad boys in the wild. Number 1, check the mint mark. It should be a D for Denver. Number 2, inspect the obverse, that's the head side, for signs of doubling, especially around the word liberty, and the date. Number 3, examine the reverse for grease strike errors, meaning parts of the design might look weak or missing. Number 4, check if the coin is off center even by 10 to 15%. This can drastically increase its value. Number 5, and this one's important, look at the coin's condition. The shinier the better. Aim for mint state quality, or get it professionally graded. And if all that sounds overwhelming, there are plenty of apps and websites that help identify errors, or better yet, take it to a reputable coin dealer. Grading is everything in this hobby. A 1987 decoder with errors in poor condition might get you a couple $100, but in mint state, or better, it can jump to thousands or even millions. Certification by NGC or PCGS gives buyers confidence that the coin is authentic and helps boost the final sale price at auction. Also, rarity plays a huge role. The fewer that exist, the more valuable they become. Think of it like vintage baseball cards, but shinier and legal tender. The most famous 1987 D-era quarter was auctioned for $1.7 million through a private sale, with a collector in Texas who said it reminded him of his first coin hunt with his grandpa. Emotional value meets collector obsession, and suddenly you have a record-setting sale. But even more common, 1987 D-era coins have sold for over $5,000 and $10,000 at public auctions. So yeah, this isn't just hype, this is real money changing hands for real coins sitting in people's drawers and coffee cans. You don't have to be a millionaire to get started. Go through your change jars, bank rolls, or even yard sales and estate sales. I once found a coin worth $400 at a flea market for a quarter. No joke. Look for misprints, off center strikes, double dies, anything unusual, and always hold the coin up to the light. You'd be amazed what you can catch that way. Join online forums, Facebook groups, Reddit threads, and YouTube communities that specialize in coin spotting. You'll learn a ton and maybe even trade a few treasures. Okay, let's say you've got a 1987 D quarter that looks funky. Second, take clear photos front and back and compare with online references, especially certified coins. Third, send it to NGC or PCGS for grading. If you think you've got a winner, it costs a bit but could make you a millionaire. And finally, if it's legit, start planning what you're gonna do with your fortune. Pay off debt, buy a home, or maybe just brag to your cousin that your pocket change beat his crypto. So there you have it, folks, the amazing story of the 1987 D mint mark Washington quarter that turned a simple piece of metal into a $1.7 million treasure. This isn't just a coin, this is a reminder that value can hide in plain sight, and sometimes the most ordinary things in life carry the most extraordinary worth. If you enjoyed this video and want more stories like this, tips on how to find valuable coins, or just love learning something new every day, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications so you never miss a rare coin alert, and drop a comment below if you've ever found something unexpected in your change. Yes, you heard me right. 1.1 million. For a coin that probably once lived in someone's pocket with lint and stale mints. Now, before you raid your sofa cushions or interrogate your grandma about her old change jar, stick around. Because in this video, I'm going to take you on a wild ride through the world of the 1995 D Washington quarter, a coin that went from 25 cents to $1 million masterpiece. This isn't just some numismatic bedtime story. It's real. It's shocking. And it's the reason you'll never look at spare change the same way again. Grab a drink, maybe a snack, and definitely your coin jar, because this story is just getting started. It looks just like every other quarter, right? You've got George Washington on the front, that proud profile with the hair that says, "I woke up like this." Flip it over, and there's the majestic eagle on the back, spreading its wings like it's about to take flight into your wallet. But here's the twist. Not all 1995 D quarters were created equal. While millions of them rolled out of the Denver Mint, only a tiny handful were struck with extremely rare errors. We're talking about minting mistakes so unique, they turned an ordinary coin into a collector's dream. And one of these error coins sold for a whopping $1.1 million. So what made that quarter so dang special? Now I know what you're thinking. How does a tiny flaw turn a coin into a gold mine? Here's what that means in human terms. The coin was struck incorrectly during minting. The obverse, that's the front side with Washington's face, got hit twice, slightly misaligned. This caused the words like Liberty and In God We Trust to appear shadowed or doubled. Add to that a rare struck through grease error, and boom, you've got a rare 1 in a million variety. It's basically like finding a Picasso where everyone else sees a paint by numbers. Only a handful of these flawed beauties have ever been found. Some say fewer than 5 are known to exist with this exact combination of errors. And that's what drives the value sky high. Like a unicorn or a matching sock in the laundry, collectors go nuts for it. The top-graded example of the 1995 D error quarter got certified by one of the big boys, PCGS, and hit the auction block like a rock star. Bidders were tripping over each other just to own it. The final hammer price? $1.10 million. And to think, it probably cost the mint just a few cents to make. A few years back, I was at a garage sale. You know, one of those where people are selling old mugs, random VHS tapes, and mystery cords that belong to gadgets nobody owns anymore. I spotted a beat-up coin jar in a dusty corner. The price tag? $2. That $2 investment turned into a fun evening of sorting through coins while watching reruns of The Office. I didn't find anything million-dollar worthy that time, but I did find a 1983 double-die penny worth around $1.50. Not bad for a random Saturday, and a jar full of change, and it lit a fire in me. I started learning. I joined online groups, watched videos, and even attended a coin show where I got to hold a $1 million nickel. I felt like Indiana Jones, minus the snakes.so. When I heard about the 1995 D quarter pulling in 7 figures, I wasn't surprised, just inspired. Got a 1995 D Washington quarter lying around? Great. Let's do a little detective work. Or if you're like me, use your phone camera and zoom in like your CSI. Especially at Liberty, in God We Trust. And the date. 1995. If you see any doubling, like letters that look slightly shadowed or blurry, that's your first clue. Next, check the surface for any weird texture, like a rough, smeared look. That could be a struck-through error. If you think you've got something funky, don't just toss it back into the change jar. Set it aside and get it evaluated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. It might cost a bit, but if it turns out to be the real deal, you're looking at a life-changing quarter. Let's have some fun. Imagine you find this magical 1995 D quarter. It gets authenticated. Boom, you're $1.1 million richer. Pay off the house? Travel the world? Finally start that bakery that only serves cereal-themed cupcakes? For me, I'd probably buy a classic Mustang, donate a chunk to charity, and yes, I'd invest in more coin jars at garage sales. Once a collector, always a collector. That little quarter could unlock freedom, fun, and a future you never dreamed was possible. So there you have it. The 1995 D Washington quarter. A coin that most people overlook. A coin that lived its early life bouncing between vending machines and coffee shop counters. And a coin that, in rare form, is worth more than a house in Beverly Hills. If you're still here, you're now officially part of the Change Chasers Club. You know that spare change isn't just spare, it's potential. So go check your drawers, your jars, your glove box, even that pile of coins next to the washer. Because maybe, just maybe, your $1 million story is waiting to be found. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button like it's the jackpot slot machine. Subscribe for more tips on coins worth big money, and let's build a community of everyday folks discovering extraordinary treasure.